Hello, potential scholars. My name is Peter James, and you're welcome to today's webinar. Today's webinar is focused on the Chevening Scholarship, and we have an amazing personality with us. She is a scholar par excellence, and she has won both the Chevening Scholarship in the UK and the Total Energies International Master Scholarship in Paris. And today she'll be guiding us on the step-by-step application process on how to apply to this scholarship. Today's webinar will be focusing on the overview of the Chevening Scholarship, the application timeline, and how to write a compelling and an award-winning scholarship essay. Without further ado, please join me. Let's welcome Abasiofon IME Moses. Scholar, over to you.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, everyone, for having me today. Hey, everyone. My name is Abasiofon Moses, like I was rightly introduced. And yes, I got the Chevening Scholarship this year, and I also got another scholarship this year. So right about now, because we just have an hour, so I just want to be straight to the point. I don't want to waste time, because by 5 o'clock we should be out of here. Yeah. So but before I start, let me put a disclaimer that all that I'll be saying is not in conjunction with the Chevening Secretariat, either in the UK or in Nigeria. And I will be talking from my own experience. So it is best that you relate with whatever I'm saying as it pertains to my own experience, because every other person will also have their own experience. And as well, I do not represent the Chevening Secretariat, either in the UK or in Nigeria. Okay, so now that I have settled that, I'm here to talk about the Chevening Scholarship. I would advise you, if there's a place that you can get accurate information, you should not be dependent on hearsay and so on and so forth. So if you want to get correct information, just go to the chevening.org website, and there you would see everything that you need. So first of all, what is Chevening? Because I can remember when I posted my pictures, people were like, okay, congratulations, but I don't know what this is. What is this? Okay, so I would love to start there. And I think even on the website, there is actually an overview of what Chevening is all about. Chevening is a prestigious scholarship. Yeah, it's a really prestigious and fully funded scholarship program from the UK government that allows outstanding individuals from around the world, to pursue a one-year master's degree in the UK. So this scholarship, it's really for leaders. If you are a leader, if you can network, because it focuses on developing global future leaders and influencers and even decision makers in various fields. And they also give you additional allowances. For example, for people that will not be staying in London, there is some allowances that they'll give them so that they can go to London for some events, for some Chevening events. And apart from the full financial support, they travel, because for some people that have not been on an international flight before, this will actually be an opportunity for you to travel. And apart from that, your stipend also covers your accommodation, and your tuition is also taken care of. So immediately after you are done with your Chevening, you also have an access, even before you are done, you will have access to the extensive Chevening alumni network of over 50,000 members worldwide. So with this particular network, you can always reach out to people, you can collaborate, you can partner with people. And obviously, by the time you are in that space, you are more positioned and you have a leverage for opportunities for personal and even professional development. And obviously, you have great networking skills. So you will be able to network with people, to probably get things done and so on and so forth. So right about now, I believe I'm talking to a Nigerian audience. So I'll be focusing more on the Nigerian perspective. By the way, I'm a Nigerian, and I have a Nigerian experience. So I think that helps. For you to be able to apply for the Chevening Scholarship, you must be a citizen of a Chevening eligible country. So Nigeria is a Chevening eligible country, so there is nothing to worry about. After your 1 year study in the UK, you must return to your home country for at least 2 years after your award ends. So that one is non-negotiable. You will have to sign a contract as it pertains to that. And yeah, before you can apply to the Chevening Scholarship, you must have completed an undergraduate degree. So obviously you have a graduate degree, that would enable you to gain admission into a postgraduate course, like a master's degree course, and then you must have at least 2 years of work experience. Now, I think this is where people mix it up. It does not really mean that, you must really have a 9 to 5 per se. But here is it. If you have been volunteering for an organization, if you have something you are doing, probably you are running a business. For example, I run a business in Nigeria, so I was able to use that as my 2 years working experience. So whatever you think that you are doing, that can count, either as a volunteer position or something that you do, that can count as a work experience for you. So you can actually use that to fulfill that particular criteria. And then you must also apply to, well, not at the time of application anyways, but you must be looking at, you must have chosen 3 universities, and either you choose 3 universities with the same course, or you choose 3 different universities, 3 different courses, or you can choose the same university with 3 different courses. And and they must give you an unconditional. So number one, we have a conditional offer. We also have an unconditional offer. So they must be able to give you an unconditional offer by July of next year. So you can get a conditional offer. And then what do I mean by conditional offer? A conditional offer, the school may say, okay, we have given you an admission, but you have to bring your transcript, or you have to do the English exams for us to be able to give you an unconditional offer, and you can have the Chevening Award, but if you're not able to provide an unconditional offer, you may miss out on your scholarship. So those are the key things I would love to point out as it pertains to the overview of the Chevening Scholarship. Please confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. I'm glad
Thank you very much.
I can hear you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please, please, go ahead and drop your questions. And if at any point in time you don't hear me clearly, or you want me to repeat something, please just call my attention in the chat box. All right, so let's go ahead. Now, talking about the application timeline. As we speak, application timeline for Chevening this year, 2025-2026 session is already open. So if you go to the website, you can see the timeline. So the applications will open right from the 6th of August. So I normally would advise, do not rush it. It is not by first to submit. In fact, if I want to shock you, my scholarship, I think I actually submitted, I think, a week to the deadline. So it is not by being the first to submit. So you have to take your time, make sure you got that your essays are on point. And then on the 5th of November, is actually the deadline for application. So I would not advise you to wait till 5th of November. In fact, I would not advise you to wait till November. So let me see, this September, so October. So whatever you are doing between now and October, you should be able to close out by 31st of October. You must have submitted your essay, but let me just say, but by the last week of October, you must have submitted your essay, right? To be on the safe side, because there's a possibility, like I had my friend, he waited till almost the deadline. So on the day of the deadline, the portal actually experienced a lot of traffic, so he was not able to submit his application. So I would advise that you don't wait till the deadline, that you submit your application like 2 weeks before the deadline. So by 3rd or 4th or last week of October is very perfect and fine, because by that time you must have settled in. You must have dotted all your I's, crossed all your T's in your essay, to be able to submit a perfect essay. So that's for the deadline for the application. Now, by the time you finish submitting your application on the 5th of November, there's some questions that you answer. Well, once you want to start applying for Chevening, there's some questions that you will have to answer. Will you come back to Nigeria after 2 years? are you a graduate? Some of those questions are there. Are you a citizenship of UK? Are you a citizenship of another country? You know, those are questions that you have to answer. So I think this also forms part of the eligibility criteria. So first of all, your applications will be sifted against that eligibility criteria. So in my own say, during my own time, the Chevening Secretariat got 11,000 applications, but 4,000 people did not meet this criteria. So automatically they were dropped. So down, they now went on with the 7,000 people. Now the reading community will start reading the essays, and then by February, mid of February, they will start sending out emails for interview, right? So then people also receive rejections. So from February, people will start going for interview. So I had my own interview in March. So by March, April, people you start doing interviews, and then from June the results will be out, and then July you must have had your unconditional offer, because by August, September you'll be on your way to UK. All right, so that's that for the still on the application timeline. Now let's get to the crux of the matter. Now the main thing about the Chevening Scholarship is the essays. Now, if you already know, now the Chevening application will require that you write 4 critical essays. And now each of these essays must not be more than 500 words. It must be 500 words long. So they are always 4 questions. Now, even though the question may differ, but it is always on the same theme. Number 1, leadership. Number 2, networking. Number 3, your 3 courses and your 3 universities, or your 1 course and your 3 universities, or your 3 different courses and your 3 different universities. And now the last essay is always about your career plan, your career essay, what you want to do, you know, where you see yourself in the next 5 years, you see yourself, in short, it's just about your short-term goals, your medium-term goals, and your long-term goals. So that is really the of the matter right now. So I will go ahead to talk about each of these essays and what you must do. Now, in writing essays, generally, let's start with the leadership essay. Chevening is looking for global leaders. You know, it's all about leadership per se. So they want people that have leadership skill. What have you been doing during your undergraduate, during outside undergraduate, during your workplace, even at home? You know, where have you led before and what result did you have? So there's what we call the STAR approach, STAR. So the S stands for situation, the T stands for task, the A stands for action, and the R stands for results. Now, normally we always add an extra R, which is the reflection part. So in writing your essays, you must at least try and give a minimum of 3 examples. 3 examples. So imagine how you have to write 500 words, 3 examples. I mean, so you must really try to say all you have to say in that short word space. So you want to first of all talk about a situation that you encounter. Now talk about what you had to do. That's the task that you had to do to overcome that challenge. And now talk about the action. You know, now the task was something you had in mind to do. Now the action is you know, taking the bull by the horn and doing what you told yourself you were going to do so that you can get that result. And then the first R is the results you got from the action you took. And now the second R is always the reflection. It's always for reflection. Here you tell yourself, okay, at the end of this particular situation, I was able to achieve this, right? And then I learned this, more like lessons learned. So this is what I was able to learn, and this is how I'm looking forward to apply this, or probably this is how this has helped me to do something. So, for example, for me, I've done a whole lot of stuff. So, but for now, I would love to set an example. I was actually the acting president of my department, and I was faced with a lot of challenges. One of them was being able to host the Students' Week. So for me, I had to call my own team. I had to brainstorm with them. And then there is something you must do. You must be able to personalize the essay. Even if you work in a team, yes, they actually love teamwork, but you should be able to identify what you were able to do in the whole of that situation. I did this, and then we should also be able to see some adjective. I think I got that right. Like vision. They want to see your problem solving skills, your decision making skills, as well as your perseverance. How are you able to persevere through a situation, through a challenge, to getting to the results that you want? So another example that I have was that during my own time, I led a team of volunteers, to educate 200 secondary school girls on sexual education. Now, Chevening wants to see numbers. So number one, mention places, mention the dates, mention the names of people you work with, mention the number, mention specific person. So that shows that you are authentic, you are original, you are genuine, and your story is real. Please do not fake the story. Let it be real. Because by the time you go to the interview stage, they will ask you. And if you're not able to defend what you wrote, there's going to be a problem. So because of time, I think we can always come back to this if we have any question. I want to rush to the networking part. Now, most times we get confused. Even me, during when I was writing my own essay, there's actually a blend, because there's actually a blend between leadership and networking. Because in my leadership roles, I had to network with people to help me achieve some goals, right? So you must be able to differentiate, your networking parts and the leadership parts of that your story, right? But I would advise, if you have many examples, if you have already mentioned a particular story in the leadership part, please avoid mentioning it in the networking part, because it will look as if it is repetition and you don't have more examples. But if you don't have more examples to write, there is how you can write the leadership own, and then it does not depict that it is the same thing you are repeating in the networking essay. I don't know if you understand what I mean. And now for the networking essay, the same STAR approach also applies. You must take the situation, you must follow it up with the task at hand, the action you took, and the results you got, followed by the reflection, what you learned from that particular experience, and how you are looking forward to applying that particular lessons you learned, either in future or already how you have used that particular lesson to do something profitable in your life. So now you want to focus on your relationships. Who you have been able to build relationship. Maybe you went for a conference, you went to a seminar, or you actually reached out to somebody on LinkedIn or on Facebook. In my own case, I reached out to someone on Facebook, and till today I have a great relationship with that person. I was able to attend a conference where I met someone and a high person and I was able to use that person to push my project. So now we want to mention people that are in high authority. But even if you don't have people that are in high authority, you can still mention whosoever you've been able to network with that has helped you to achieve a particular goal, because that is the focus. It's not really about the big name, because you can have big name, but you're not able to use that relationship to do something, to probably impact your community, or use it to collaborate or partner for something good. So it's about the relationship you are building, the professional relationship, and how you have leveraged these relationships for collaborations. So now, it is also very how, remember that Chevening is all about networking. It's also key for you to be able to state how you to use the networking, the Chevening network, to push your goals, to achieve the things you want to achieve. So these things we will talk about it in the career plan, because it is very, very essential. So they want to say that you have already pictured yourself as a Chevening scholar, how you want to use your leadership position, your leadership skills to initiate some things in the Chevening network, how you want to use your networking skill to network with other alumni in the Chevening network to achieve one or two goals. And please take note that your goals must be tied to the SDG goals. Yes, the SDG goals. We have about I think 21 of them, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that some website I would also mention, because there's some work. Okay, sorry, that's 17 goals, and you have to tie whatever you are doing to these goals. You have, and take note that this goal is ending by 2030. So whatever you are writing, you have to be within that space. So now you can now say that it is your 5-year plan. HG goals cannot be your 10 years plans, so it has to be within 2030. So I just wanted to highlight that before I move on. So I'm still talking on the networking essay. So it is also key that you share an instance where you network, where your networking led you to an opportunity. Mention the time, like probably in 2021, you went to a conference, like in my own case, the Nigerian Society of Engineers conference that was hosted in Abuja. There I met engineer and I approached him and I introduced myself to him, this one, and we were able to talk about XYZ, which led to me being able to impact my community in such a way, and I was able to talk to 1,000 students in secondary schools on the need to do XYZ and so on and so forth. So that is how you can be able to focus on your relationship in order write a Chevening essay. So it's also important that numbers are very important. Names of people, names of places, where you met them, the year, what you've been able to do, that opportunity, the positive outcome of that relationship, the career advancement you got, the project collaboration you were able to do, and how you were able to impact the community, with your own with this particular relationship. So remember that you must cite at least 3 examples. You must cite at least 3 examples. So sometimes you may want to open it up like, oh, in my opinion, networking is all about XYZ. You in the leadership part, in my opinion, or I believe that leadership is all about XYZ, So by the time you now have an opening, you can now take the second paragraph to be your first example, third paragraph to be your second example, fourth paragraph to be your third example, and then your last paragraph, you are tying it up to Chevening, that you believe that by the time you are being awarded the Chevening Scholarship, you will be able to use your networking skills, you'll be able to use your leadership skill to do XYZ that will lead to ABC and so on and so forth. So I hope that does it. And you can always come back to that. And if you have any question, you can always leave it in the chat session. Yeah, thank you, Peter. I've seen the SGs we have 17 goals. So another thing, the next essay we have is the how to write. So the third essay is all about your study in the UK. So they want to know sometimes, like me, right? But you may want to chart a new course. So you may say, oh, I don't want to do chemical engineering again. I want to do something else. You are very, very free. That's one thing. And that's one good thing, about Chevening. So first, you are able to defend yourself, right? And defend the course you are going to go and do. You defend how it relates to your passion, how it relates to your 5-year goal, your 10-year goal, and so on and so forth. So first, you are able to defend that. Perfect. So now, in writing the study in the UK education, remember, I said that you can do the same course at different universities. This is what I did. Or you can choose 3 different courses in the same university, or you can choose 3 different courses in 3 different universities. So first, they are closely related and you can actually defend them, right? So now you may want to research universities in the UK that are offering the course you want to go on and do, right? And then look at their requirements, their eligibility criteria, right? Because most of them, Nigeria is actually an English-speaking country. Most of them will still say that you should go and write the English test. If you have the money and you feel you can do it, fine, please go ahead. Some people would say, oh, we want official transcript. They could be looking for 1 or 2 things to ask you for. For example, the University of Edinburgh were asking me to provide my final school certificate, and I did not have it because my school has not yet given to me. So it was actually a problem. So they gave me a conditional offer, right? And then the University of Aberdeen were asking me to verify my WAEC results. So these are the things you want to look out for if you'll be able to fulfill them before the timeline, right? So by the time you finish researching your universities and then you now choose the 3 schools you want to go to, the 3 courses, you have to sit down and think about, why are you choosing these courses? Why are you choosing this university? So this is where you talk about the good thing about your university. So for me, for example, my first choice was Swansea University. And now in Swansea, they had a lab. There was something they had in their lab that's very, very key in chemical engineering. And I have not operated that kind of machine before. So I was eager to look at it, to see how it works and so on and so forth. So I actually put it as part of the good things about Swansea University, which actually made me to choose Swansea. The next thing, because I am an entrepreneur and I run a business, and my business is also tied to chemical engineering. I researched about the school, and I also talked to past scholars and also people that have also gone to the school before. So I was privileged to have someone tell me about the Swansea Enterprise. So the Swansea Enterprise is a kind of program that the school organized for entrepreneurs, where you get the opportunity and the access to meet entrepreneurs. They get to they would train you in business and so on and so. So this was actually a side structure for me. So I wrote it as part of the thing that has actually made me to choose this particular university. So you may want to do your own research, find out what makes your school to stand out, right? And even as you want to focus on the academic parts of the essay, you may want to put what could be, maybe you want to go to the beach, you want to go to the waterfalls. Like in my own case, I mentioned that I wanted to go to the Cardiff waterfalls and so on and so forth. So look at the things like maybe like tourism attraction that you may want to explore while you are actually reading, because Chevening is not all about reading. I mean, it's actually a plane whereby you go out, you explore the city, you explore the culture, and so on and so forth. So you want to have a mix of all of this. So remember that in opening your third essay, you may want to, like in my own case, I actually opened it with the statistics, right, to show why I was studying that course. And then my second paragraph was on my first school, why I have chosen this school. Maybe it's actually the number one in UK, or probably number one in chemical engineering in Wales, or in Scotland, or in England, or and so on and so forth. And then my third paragraph was on my second course, my second choice of university. And then my fourth paragraph was on my third choice. And then I ended it up by tying it all up to say that this is the reason why I'm studying this course, because it will help me do so and so and so, which will now transcend into talking about your career goals. Now look at how there's actually a flow from your leadership to your networking, and then from your networking to your schools, and then from your schools to your career options. To your career essay. I mean, your career, your long-term goals, and all of that. So for the study in the UK question and for the career essay, there is more like a kind of like it differs, with using the STAR approach, although you can still use the STAR approach, to be able to make sure that your teams are aligned. Now, going into the fourth essay now, you want to make sure that you are clear on your goals, right? You want to make sure that your goals are SMART, right? They are specific, they are measurable, right? You want to, as they say, in the next 1 year, in the next 3 years, in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, and they are attainable. You cannot say you want to become the president of Nigeria, then return to Nigeria. It's not possible. It's not realistic, right? And then you want to be relatable. It has to be realistic. It has to be realistic. I cannot, for example, for me now, I'm in the engineering industry. I cannot say I want to become a lawyer. It's not realistic, right? And then the last T, it must be time bound, right? You must have a target. From this year to this year, I'll be doing this. From here to here, I'll be doing this, and so on and so forth. So I would advise you to categorize it into 3. So you can have the short-term plans, what you want to do on your immediate return to Nigeria, your medium-term plan, and then your long-term plans. Now, for some people, they are already working, right? Because that's where you have your 2 years working experience from. So you may want to say, maybe to take a post a study leave. So some people, they may be going back to their company, Some people, they may be going out to go and start a business, something, something maybe something that you were already doing. So you want to go back and continue what you were already doing. So for the short-term essay, sorry, for the short-term plan, it has to be something that you can really do within 1 year, right? Something that you want to, once you return, you hit the ground running. You can go to the FCDO. There's actually a website that will help you. Yeah, the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office. So it's actually a website. You can just go there. You can see what the UK government is doing in Nigeria, right? What they're doing in Nigeria and how you can tie your interests, your projects to what they're doing, how you want to collaborate with Chevening on your return and upon your return to Nigeria to be able to help them achieve those goals, right? So the last essay, you want to probably do an introduction. So the introduction could actually be a statistics, right? It could actually be from UN, from WHO, from wherever. So first is actually current and it's alarming to be looked at. And then you want to start the second paragraph by stating your short-term goals upon your immediate return to Nigeria. Then your paragraph should be your medium-term goals, and then your fourth paragraph should be your long-term goals, and then your final paragraph should be you tying everything up and stating that upon when once you are a Chevening scholar, you or rather you believe that receiving this award will enable you to go ahead and go ahead and be able to pursue all these goals and get the results you have to get. So very, very important, you must mention numbers. Numbers are very, very important. You must, if you are quoting a particular place, you have to reference them, and you have to state the numbers, the names, the year. For example, now if you are quoting this DFID, you have to say according to the Department of International Development. It says that in 2020, this XYZ was done. ABC is going to be done. So if I come in as a Chevening scholar with the skills in so and so, I will be able to help the FCDO to be able to achieve its goal. So it's so make sure that your statements or your sentences are clear, they are straightforward, and someone with a quick glance at your essay, the person is able to understand what you are trying to say, and then you are also able to communicate what you in conclusion, you have to be authentic. You have to tell your story. You have to be able to communicate your story. You have to show the emotions. You have to be able, let somebody reading your essay, let the person be able to see your heart, right? So I would say to my fellow Nigerians, writing the Chevening essay or applying for Chevening, it's your chance to tell your story, to be honest, to be authentic, to be original, and very, very important, to also be very, very strategic. Now, Chevening is not for the most published and the most polished candidates. I mean, if you are saying, oh, you have to achieve everything in the whole world before you can achieve before you can apply for Chevening, then you are wrong, because Chevening just want to see your potential and then fund you to be able to have the skill to be able to come back and do more. So it's your they want to see your leadership potentials, your impact potentials, your volunteering potential, so that you are now able to leverage on this platform, show them your unique experiences, your challenges, and then very, very important, it's not always about the good side of the story. For example, in your leadership essay and your networking essay, shows that you are relearning, you are unlearning, and you are ready to learn. To learn, because leadership evolves. It's not constant. It's not fixed. It's changing. It's dynamic, right? And then very, very important that you probably have someone to go through your essays. Sometimes there could be grammatical errors, there could be sentence error, and because you are the one writing it, you may not really observe it. Now let me tell you a story. I said, and this is my second time of applying for Chevening, and my first time, that was August 2022. You know that I spent 3 months trying to write my essay. Like, I had about Like if I should say 10 drafts, I will not say I'm overemphasizing, right? Because I wrote, I gave for review, they give me feedback, I rewrote, I changed, and then there are a lot of resources out there. You can go on YouTube, Chevening Scholarship, the Talking Chevening Scholarship, volunteering, leadership, networking, study in the UK, career essay, and so on and so forth. Just go on YouTube and you will see a lot and lot of resources that would require you to sit down, think, and then you have to do a lot of research. You are either researching on the UK website, Nigerian website, what is the current trend now? What is the statistics saying? What is this? And what is XYZ? What is ABC? So that you can incorporate all of this into your essay to give you a comprehensive application. Now, after I wrote, it took me 3 months to write my essay. I finally submitted. But guess what? The following year, February, that was last year. Yeah, last year, February, I got a rejection. And it was actually painful because I had invested so much time in writing my essay. Now, funny enough, in my second application, I did not need to do much. I did not need to do much because I just pick up that essay and then refine 1 or 2 things. And then this February this year, I got my invite to the interview. And after I got my invite to the interview, I spent 1 month, yes. So even if, just to put this out there, because it's not everyone that will get Chevening. Even if you don't get Chevening, I mean, it is not the end of your world, right? Honestly, it is not. You can always get other better opportunities. There are some people that got Chevening and they even had to reject it. For example, me myself, right? For other better opportunities. So you want to make sure that as you are going through the process, you are also true to yourself, because by the time you sit down and think about your life, you are able to talk about what you've been able to do, your achievements in terms of your networking essay, your leadership essay, and even your study in the UK. And then when it now comes down to you're able to think, what do you really want to do for your life in the short term, in the medium term, and in the long term. So even if Chevening does not take you, you can still run with that manuscript, you can still run with that roadmap, right? To say, oh, this is what I said I was going to do in 1 year, this is what I said I was going to do in 5 years, and so on and so forth. Just to give you a heads up, most people aspire for big positions for their long-term goals. Maybe like they can say, in the next in the long term, or in 20 years to come, I want to become the commissioner or the president, or it's good, right? But in saying that, it has to be strategic. They should be able to see the flow, that the work you're already doing in your 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, 10 years plan will carry you there. You can no way, and then all of a sudden you want to become the president. It does not work that way. Are you in the political space? What other political positions have you handled before? Which party do you belong? So there's a whole lot of things that has to be put in place. So you must be able to make sure that you tie all the knots, and you make sure that they all connect, that your dots connect, because it is only then that you'll be able to convince the grading committee and even the interview panel that you are the right candidate for the Chevening Scholarship. Thank you. All right, so I don't know if we can go over to the questions now, if we have any questions. I'm trying to go through the chat box now.
All right, thank you very much. Please, if you have a question, kindly drop your question now. Or you can signify by raising up your hand, and we'll give you the opportunity to say something. Okay, I have some questions. The first question is on leadership. My question is, can we give at least 2 examples here? Will it be enough to actually stand out, make us stand out in this competition? With 2 questions, with two examples on our leadership experience, will it be okay? Considering the word counts.
So it's good you give 3. Minimum of 3 relevant things. That's why we have the STAR approach. Just go in, the state, the situation, the task, the action, the results, reflection, finish. You move to the next one. There is no time. Even your opening sentence should just be 1 sentence. Your last sentence, tying everything up, should just be 1 sentence, because there There is no words you want to. And then very, very important, at first, you will not get it right. Like, at first, you may just have like 1,000 words. It's okay. It's fine. Just pour out everything you have in your head first. Pour out all your examples first. Then you now sit down and now recalibrate. You now be able to rank, oh, this one should be number 1, number 2, number 3. From there, you now know the weakest one to remove. By the time you remove it, you now refine the example to be able to be more concise and more clear so that it can now accommodate the 500 words, right? And then it's also important that you state everything in, in reverse chronological order. So from the most earliest example, so that it can follow, so that they can actually be. But your strongest spot, because that is what would captivate the reader and hook the person to keep on reading your essay. So I would advise that you give a minimum of three examples and then make them very clear, concise, and straight to the point. So I'm saying, I hope that that helps, Peter.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right, so can we give a networking example that's related to the previous example we gave? I think I addressed this when I was talking about the leadership and the networking essay. So now here is it. Like I said before, it is, obviously I've been here. So your leadership to an extent is more likely tied to your networking examples, right? But now you want to give, that's why you don't have to say too much about it in the leadership process, that you have what to say about in the networking process. Someone will not know that it's the same thing, because if it's actually the same thing, obviously it will look as if it's a repetition and that you don't have much examples to give them and convince them that you're actually the right person for this award. So you want to talk about leadership parts in the leadership example. And by the time you come to networking, you want to focus on just the networking parts. That way, you are able to, show your skill and your prowess. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So there's how you can write it, and then you are not able, one will not tell that it's actually one and the same thing, because obviously there are two different things. It's just that it actually happened at the same situation. So make sure that you're using the STAR approach, your situation, your task, your action, your results, and most importantly, your reflection. I hope I've been able to answer that question now.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. In the study in the UK plan, is it right if we start our introduction with a personal? Perfect. You can start it with a personal story. Obviously, you want to grab their attention. You want to hook them. Now, but make sure that it is captivating enough. Number 2, make sure that it does not take too much space, because we are trying to be word conscious, right? Sorry, in the UK plan, so just a line is okay, and then you start the first school. My first choice is this school, and I want to study this and that, XYZ, and so on and so forth. So you can start with the personal experience or story, but make sure that it's captivating enough and it can grab the reader's attention. Okay, so is it advisable to use statistics as an opening statement in a study? You are very, very free. In fact, I use statistics in my opening statement for my study in the UK and my career plan. It's actually a very, very strategic move, but make sure that it's actually very, very related to what you are doing, because you cannot be saying you want to talk about health and then you're going to go and give me statistics about unemployment. It's not related like it. So make sure that it's actually very, very key to what you're doing, that there's going to be a transition. There's going to be a flow from your statistics to what you want to talk about, so that the reader can actually follow through and understand your point of view. Is it okay if you put a timeline in a medium? Very okay. In fact, that's what they want. Because by the time you said in the short term, it's more like deck. In the medium term, so my long-term career plans, we want to see, in the next 1 year, in the next 2 years, in the next 5 years. So your short-term plans can be 1 to 3 years, right? Or maybe you can say 6 months to 1 year, 2 years, right? Then your medium-term plan can be 3 years to 5 years. Your long-term plans can be 10 years. And obviously, you do not have to be too hard on yourself, because most times things change, right? So, but this is the plan that you are probably having in mind to work with. For me, example, during my interview stage, I had to refine my career term plan so that it can, align well with what I was with my theme. So sometimes you can write all of this. submit it and get selected. But then by the time you now sit back and think about it again, and during your interview process, you can now want to refine it, add one or two parts, add one or two things to make it more better. Which part is best to include professional certifications? Okay, now professional certifications. Well, they don't. Maybe during. I doubt that there's a place for you to put all of that. There is no place, but it depends on how you want to structure everything. Now, if this was an interview, I would have said during when you want to do your introduction, because during the interview they will say, okay, can we meet you? For me, you can announce it, okay, my name is Abasiofon IME Moses. I am a member of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. I'm a member of the Nigerian Society of Chemical Engineers. I'm a member of the Society of Petroleum Engineers. I'm a member of the Association of Professional Women in Engineers of Nigeria. So that particular part that will now be sweet. But I think during the application process, there is no part for that. Now, so what I did was that wherever I was, like my professional bodies, I was making impact. So I was able to say, as a member of this body, I was able to do XYZ to heal ABC. So that was how my own came in. So there is no best part per se, there is no best part. And obviously, this is actually what you've already achieved. So if you have used this certification to do something, maybe like you use it to, or maybe you used, or maybe you network with someone and the person helped you to get the certificate, you can now put that as part of your example. Or maybe if you have that certification and then you now use it to do something for somebody, it can now be maybe leadership essay or something. So it depends on how you put it. I hope I've been able to answer your question, Hamza Mohammed. Okay, is it compulsory to have an academic reference among? So for me, my two reference was academic. For the past 2 years, it is likely that your reference may not be academic. It could actually be professional. So, and that's fine. That's also fine. Yes, you can use 2 academic references. For me, I use 2 academic references. You can also use 1 academic, 1 professional, and you can also use 2 professional references. What matters is what they are saying about you. Honestly, that's really what matters. How they are able to sell you to the Chevening Secretariat, to the Chevening board per se. I hope that helps. 3 minutes more. 3 minutes more. Any other question? Any other question before I drop off the call? It's been an amazing moment with you all. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being my audience. Thank you for listening to me. I really appreciate it.